It's a meeting.
It's a meeting.
All right, it is 6:33, and I'm calling
You can't,
to
you
order
don't table.
the 10:25 planning board meeting for Tilton. And first order of business to review the minutes from 10/11/16.
Have fun with that.
I wasn't here, so I'm gonna abstain.
You guys want them? They're not as long as you think.
No, they're not.
There's a lot of silence, actually. A lot of people thinking, trying to decide what to do.
I read them.
I read them
I
too,
kinda
but I
skimmed
read
them.
them a while back when they first came out.
Actually, sorry to interrupt, but I'll tell you, I did change one thing. I thought I meant to. Okay. On page 5 of 6, the motion to approve case 1608. The second, I don't know why it's not showing up here. The second, oh, I know why. Okay. The second condition I changed to, because it seemed no on-site access to storage shall be permitted on-site. It's used the word on-site twice and it didn't make much sense. And I think what Catherine had actually said was, no on-site access to storage units shall be permitted except in accordance with Plan Note Number 1. And that's what their notice of decision says, and that's what this should say. And I changed it by mistake. I printed an earlier version for you guys tonight. So if that change is okay with you guys, that's more accurate.
All right, I make a motion to accept with the addition of the correction offered by Mr. Sasson.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Abstain. Okay.
That auto one that's gonna come back to haunt us.
Aye.
Well, actually, we have a haunting email about that.
Do you have the, you wanna do that now? The haunting email?
Sure.
I love sugar cookies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a copy of it? I did not print it.
Yep, I have copies for everyone. This is an email from Kathy Mitchell, who's affiliated with the Conservation Commission. I'm not sure she's a member or the alternate or something, but she's obviously, very active community member who read through the minutes and had some concerns about, indeed, the auto dealership. So you'll see my response at the top. It's kind of backwards as usual. Her initial email is at the bottom, and then my response is at the top.
So did you, I can't remember she's referring to this, the overestimate of the contaminants.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of remember you and Joe talking about that.
Right, that's exactly right.
That was in the video? I thought that was after.
That was just before we adjourned, I believe.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah.
I caught that. Huh.
Yeah. Very observant.
Yeah.
She's probably the one person who
Yeah, that
didn't
was
notice. Although, who knows?
interesting.
Nice response.
No,
I
thank
thought I
you.
was gonna say a really good response.
Thank you.
Good man. she does make some points,
Mhm.
sort of,
No, I think, yeah.
but any motor vehicle, whether new or not.
Well, I was just
new
gonna
or
say,
used,
it's-
has potential.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, if you have an air conditioner, in
Yeah.
particular, if you know, notice, I can't tell you the number of times I thought, oh, my car's leaking, and it's not, it's because I've used my air conditioner
Right.
in the summertime, so.
Oh.
And when it rains, my car will drip down around certain places for a long time afterwards, because it gets trapped in little places, so it's hard to say. I mean, if a car's dripping oil, it's very obvious from where I think it is, if it's a, you know.
I went 3 weeks before I realized my truck was dripping gas.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that
I
probably-
said oil, I'm talking oil.
evaporated.
Where was it parked on the? in your
Wherever I
drive?
parked,
Oh,
everywhere.
okay.
I mean, it was
Huh.
3 weeks of driving it constantly, and
Yeah.
I was like,
Hmm.
man, I'm using a lot of
Yeah,
gas.
violent.
Oh,
What's
that
going
was-
on?
Yeah.
I think her email, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, I'm just,
I think she makes some really good points, and I think, to me, it sort of speaks to the fact that every decision we make has costs and benefits, and, here, there's two factors that are kind of in conflict. There's, if you seal up a parking lot, if you break that connection between, down to the subsurface and eventually the groundwater, then you ensure that you're not going to get contamination, or you help protect against contamination. But most of what planning boards, I think, most efforts over the past, let's say, decade, have been toward increasing pervious surfaces, not decreasing. And, in fact, overflow parking and other parking is one of the areas where pervious surfaces are most being encouraged, where in the past they were paid. So, I think maybe the lesson, the value here is, as we go forward, I know we've all talked about strengthening our stormwater regulations. Probably the first place that needs to be done is in the site plan review regulations. But it's important to consider that essentially there are times when infiltration is good, and probably that's most of the time, but there are, as Kathy points out, there are instances where you don't want to allow infiltration, and I guess we have to be mindful of that. Specifically this site, I don't know. As I admitted here, it's anecdotal, but I just don't believe that cars are oozing fluids all the time. It seems almost impossible that, there's only so much
well,
fluid in a car.
I have to beg to differ with that, but I agree with your point overall, but my cars, I've never had a car that doesn't use oil. That's what I think, there's a difference too. A lot of old cars use oil. I'm always adding oil to
It doesn't mean it drips out,
It's
though.
probably
Right, it
burning
doesn't mean that
Okay,
it drips
it
out.
means it goes into the air. That's,
Here's the
burning it,
thing,
yeah.
Yeah.
even just the guy
They're burning
putting
it, yeah.
oil in your car, I've seen very few people put oil in their car without spilling it onto the head.
I have a
So,
special.
well,
eventually that
It was
oil's
a
gonna go to the
fine.
I
ground.
have a fun.
You drive down the highway,
Yeah.
and when it first starts to rain, you can see the oil slick that vehicles have left behind, but the fact is, we
Certainly
use
not like
automobiles. We may try to protect a parking lot, but what about the rest of the world that car drives in?
Oh, right, yeah.
You know?
It's
And I
just-
And
was
it's
she's
not like
right,
old
we do,
days.
we do require oil, we have been requiring oil water separators. But when we site planned this, I asked the question, I didn't think there was a catch basin on there.
Right, and
So what do? Have them dig it all up and install a drainage system, which is
No.
going to go where? To the
Right,
river?
yeah.
No, thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, the other, I would think if he were starting a junkyard, it would be more concerned who's going to sell or try to sell a used car, have a used car lot with cars that are dripping oil, and I don't see that happening. I would be more concerned about the one we approved for the guy with the 3 cars across from Dunkin' Donuts.
You should
I
be
know.
more concerned with the customer that's coming in and the vehicle that he's trying to
Exactly,
replace.
exactly.
Right, an auto repair, oh,
Yeah,
I
'cause
see what you're
these
saying,
vehicles
yeah,
are
the
gonna
one who
be-
wants to trade it,
Cars
stand
there.
off to them,
Yeah.
yeah.
But the fact is, I mean,
Most of the time.
you know,
Nice.
I think that you're right though, Catherine, I think that's gonna come back to haunt us. Because
Well, in a good way, though, it's gonna come back to force us to.
do something with in the
Yeah,
future,
right,
yeah.
right.
that was one I was real uncomfortable approving.
Mm.
I couldn't come up with any reason not to.
Well, me too, Catherine.
Well, it's allowed.
I think.
Yeah, me too, that's exactly how I felt.
Do you guys think that we should plan for like zones for this sort of thing, so it's not
That horse is,
everywhere
that
all
horse
up and
is
down?
so out of the barn.
Yeah,
There's no way to
I mean, you even have
contain it
it-
into sections of the town where it's not every
sh-
single
We
person's
did,
house?
but your zoning board
Yeah,
let that horse out of the barn.
right, I mean, in fact, we're in the, sort of in the, you know, opposite position now, where we've got zones that don't allow automotive type businesses that are full of automotive type, or not full, but have automotive type businesses in it, so it's actually like, I almost feel like we need to go the other way and say, you know what, like along Laconia
Route 3,
Road,
yeah.
anywhere along Laconia Road, you can sell cars, because it's clearly the way the town is, you know, sort of, the horses
So we already have
are out of the barn.
Well, the zoning board gave people variances.
Oh, okay, so
that's
because.
the one that's
Only
in question
because-
right now.
Because we already had them everywhere, so why not have them everywhere? And it was like, okay, there's no
Okay,
hardship.
so
And you've got places like, if you look up on West Main, you've got where that D-Roy's is,
Yeah,
that street between D-Roy's and the apartment house is a line, isn't
right,
it?
yeah.
So, and I remember it so well when the owner, the guy who used to own that building and had the antique place there, didn't understand. He had a license to repair cars and sell cars, and he wanted to sell cars, remember that? And we couldn't let him sell cars there
Yeah.
because that line was a street that ran beside, and really, you know, 2 blocks up the street, people were selling cars, or even closer, I think.
Right, but you have to remember where Dior is behind it is a residential neighborhood. So if you look at it that way, I mean, if you look at our zoning, some of it makes sense, some of it doesn't, but some of it very much makes sense. It's like at the end of Clark Road, the last property, or the first property, if you're going up Clark Road, is, there isn't any part of it in the agricultural district, but every other property after it,
And it should, I mean,
it has
it
part
should
of
be.
it. But no, if you look at it, that first property abuts Jensen's.
Yeah,
So every part of that property, except for the most eastern boundary of it, is abutting a residential parcel. So, do you allow, I mean, you know, would you like to be living in Jensen's and have them raising chickens and have 4 or 5 turkeys and 5 o'clock in the morning cock-a-doodle-doo? So some of it makes sense if you really study it, but
I guess.
we've,
Well, roosters don't bother me. I mean, I look at chickens where people are raising chickens now.
I got 7 of them, they don't bother me anymore.
Do you still have,
Mhm.
oh, and how's she doing?
Good. I have like 70 chickens, so it's funny, I can pick some of them out because they are so differently plumed.
70.
Can you pick her out because she's still friendly?
Wow. She's still friendly, there's like 6 of them that'll squat down and let you pat them, she's one of them now. Gabby picks her up all the time, carts her around.
How many roosters do you
7.
have? Oh, and are they pretty, like,
They're pretty laid
obnoxious,
back.
or?
No, they're pretty laid back.
Some roosters are not bad at all.
No,
Some are
of them
mean.
fine,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't mistreat mine. I've always picked them up.
No, I mean, but.
5 of them were mistakes, they should have been hens, but. You know, they refund you money. It's like, so what do I do with them?
I know,
Okay.
seriously.
Sit them back.
I know, are they
Anyway.
fancy chickens, is that why?
They're fancies, yeah. They're real fancy. They're pretty.
yeah.
What you
Well,
got for us?
Yeah.
Anyway, I think
What's that?
that this letter is well written, Dory, and I commend you on that.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
And I guess we'll wait and see if we hear from Kathy.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, there's probably some good conversation that we can continue to have on this,
Yeah.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah, as we move forward. Okay.
Did she know that there wasn't a drainage system installed on that property? Or did
Um,
she really think that we should require them to install one?
Well, yeah,
An
that's,
owned water separator isn't going to do anything unless it's connected to a system.
Exactly.
right, yeah, and I would even say that if there is a catch basin, strong likelihood that it's DOT's. And that, you know, 25 cars located in proximity to that particular catch basin is probably not more cars located in proximity to other catch basins that certainly don't require an oral water separator. So, I mean, I think it's a good point, though. You know, it's something that I know, you know, you guys are generally cognizant of, but it's never harmful to have a reminder.
All right, the next thing is our next meeting date the next meeting date is the election. And traditionally, we do not meet on election day. So I had suggested that we just do one meeting the month of November. If everybody's agreeable to that, or does anybody have any other suggestions, or?
What's the next one?
Well, we're getting close to the deadline for if we're gonna have zoning changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we might wanna consider meeting to discuss what we wanna have for zoning changes, because when is the deadline? It's earlier than the selectmen's articles.
I'll yeah, quickly. It's basically January 12th is the last day to post the notice for our first public hearing. And really, you know, as soon as we post that notice, we really need to have copies of our proposed draft copies of our ordinance ready. So,
And
so
then the
that's
second
that.
meeting's on the 22nd, which is just before Thanksgiving, who's not gonna show up.
I'll be here.
So, I will too, but.
We will have 3 cases, I believe. So, you know, Catherine does have a point. We may need to
Yeah.
So we have the
stick an
first-
extra meeting in somewhere. We could do it in December also.
Just the 15th is.
To me,
Well,
I'd say,
and-
yeah,
and-
December.
Hmm?
I'd rather not do an extra meeting.
All right, so you wanna go on and meet on election?
No, why don't we meet November 1st to have a conversation about possible zoning changes, and then meet on the 22nd to have the 3 cases.
how about November, what is it, 4th, 15th?
The third
15th.
Tuesday is sewer and, something else.
Zoning, but they're not,
Oh, that's right.
yeah. The problem with the first is it's Housing Standards Board, and honestly, it would be very difficult for me to
Yeah.
get much together by then.
Well,
What
that
if
would
we
be
met
my
the Monday
concern.
instead of the Tuesday, the 7th?
I'm Monday.
Could we do the 14th, Monday the 14th? The more time you guys can give me, the more you know, useful of a meeting I can make it be.
I would rather not do it on a Monday, because I have fire budget.
Okay.
So the 15th? It's a Tuesday.
If we're not gonna have any cases on the 8th, if we
We-
don't have any cases on the 8th, we could meet on the 8th.
We could, but I guess
Yeah, why,
people are going to be really I mean, this election is very consuming, and I feel like people are going to be very distracted.
Well, I won't be here on the 8th, because I
mean,
have to be there. as a
To me,
selectman.
I honestly, I want to see what the heck's going on with this election. If we need to be here, we need to be here, but I feel like that.
watch party?
I'm
mean,
just throwing out,
well-
I'm just throwing out dates, I'm just sitting there looking at the calendar.
No, we don't, yeah, we can,
Well, what was
so,
wrong with the 15th?
yeah, what was wrong with the 15th?
Catherine has a conflict, but I don't know if we could potentially.
We can't do Wednesdays, because.
We could meet on that third Tuesday,
Yes.
as sewer commission
Or
at 7,
Unless we have
Okay.
4.
so I'd be here for half an hour, I mean, you can have it.
Or do you want
And
to
Joe can be here, so,
you want to just meet at 6 or whatever? Or what's?
What day?
on what, the 18th?
No, the 15th was it? Did we say?
Yeah, it's the 15th, is the third Tuesday.
Okay. That's fine with me.
All right.
And now, is that to hear cases, or is that to,
Right.
How about we do,
zoning changes?
I guess,
Yeah, zoning changes, I would say.
okay, so we'll do the zoning changes Tuesday, the 15th, and then do the cases on Tuesday, the 22nd?
Yes.
We're doing zoning changes?
We have-
What did I say?
Oh.
They have to be read
Isn't
by
that
January.
zoning board?
Zoning ordinances.
Zoning amendments, like,
Oh.
remember last year when we did like the, the setbacks and the wetlands?
The wetlands and all that.
That
Okay.
stuff.
And I believe last year, did we have another meeting in the middle of the week?
We had a lot, I think we had
Yeah, we
three
had a lot
meetings
of
in
different
December, or
meetings.
something
Yeah,
crazy.
And I think we could do that if we had to.
If we have to, yeah. My thought, actually, if, I feel like, right now, and our last meeting pointed it out, right now the thing that's really most urgent for us to address is the way we handle site plan applications. I know that, we've talked about improving the site plan regulations. We've talked about combining site plan with that change of use form, even bringing language about hawkers and peddlers in there. It's come to my attention that some folks are really not clear on how Al and I handle things prior to the point that they come to the planning board. And I think if we work on our site plan review regulations, we could ease some concerns about how things are addressed. And I guess the reason I bring this up right at this moment is that 6 zoning amendments a year is a lot, and I don't think that's necessarily the pace we want to be on. And I wonder if we should just take a smaller number of zoning amendments this year in the interest of really focusing this winter on our site plan review process and getting it nailed down. I mean, we have to do accessory dwelling units. Other than that, I'm
Yeah.
not sure there's anything we have to do.
So we have a couple definitions that should be
Okay.
at least consistent. They should be the same in zoning ordinances, the site plan, and the subdivision. That drives me nuts. And sometimes, you know what I mean?
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's okay if one's missing, if you have one in zoning and you don't have it in site plan and subdivision, because that follows through.
Yeah,
But when you have a definition that changes,
yeah,
that's
exactly,
just wrong.
exactly. But that doesn't have to be a long, involved,
No, that's easy
Ordinance.
stuff.
it's
That's easy stuff.
very.
Yeah, hopefully.
I think Dari's right in that site plan review is very important because we've gone round and round and
The other
round.
thing with site plan reviews, we can do anytime because it doesn't have to make, it's not a legislative vote.
We can, but I know from last year that, the 6 zoning amendments really took up months of our time. And then by the time we got over that in March, we were getting cases in again. And I don't want to go another calendar year without cleaning up these site plan review issues that we've been identifying for years
Yeah.
now. Another couple easy ones though is that we could address, and I'll provide more materials on these if you guys agree that they're something we want to look into, is our groundwater protection ordinance. I've mentioned this to some of you, defines wellhead protection areas,
And
but it
we
doesn't
have some.
assign any.
And we have some.
Well, but DES could easily supply us with some language where we define the groundwater protection zone to be what's on that map there on the wall, and a certain radius around all public supply wells of some certain stature, some certain status. And that'd be something easy to do. And
That's in ENBWQ 1012, I think.
okay,
I'm pretty sure. I mean,
Okay.
they have distance from agriculture, from the
Right.
distances for your wellhead.
right.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot of language in there about that. In
Yeah, I
fact, I
think-
think I just copied it off.
They had a basic, after I went to a work session that Joe attended, I stuck around and talked to Pierce and another individual from DES, and they basically, they can that would potentially, we could get through that in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, they
Yep,
have a
yep,
PDF on their site
Oh, yeah,
for
yeah.
wellhead protection radiuses.
Something different.
All right.
We should do something with stormwater.
Yeah,
So we're consistent.
Yeah, I think maybe the strongest thing we could do, or an easy thing we could do is when we address site plan, just bring in all the stormwater factors that are in subdivision right into site plan, and we'd immediately have much stronger site plan review regulations. I think we've talked in the past how the site plan review regulations already tie themselves into the subdivision regulations. So we're able to do that now to some degree, but it's not as clear as it could be.
And I think it's very important, especially as we move into the future, that's clear.
Mm-hmm.
Does everybody feel about that? Do you agree?
That's a good course of action.
All right,
Okay.
good.
Hmm?
You can't go wrong with that.
Well, no, it's,
No, I'm not joking.
Really? okay. So is everybody in agreement to take that tack?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, good. Thank you, guys. It's nice to have, we got lucky with this meeting, a chance to kind of reorganize.
It's the cookies.
All right, then
Those are-
it's Eric's father's 80th birthday. Okay, so I think that's when he looks about 40. Posted a
Really?
picture of him on Facebook.
Nice.
My next thing is the brew pub at former D. Roy's. The question is, and I had an immediate answer, but do we want them to come in for a site plan review? Yes.
Never done
What
one.
is that?
No.
It's cackling? No, something crow.
It was the
Rustic
crow's nest
raven.
or raven's nest.
Do we have like a location, like an?
Yeah,
address?
it's,
Yep. It's
It's-
for.
It's on the corner of Deer Street
Street
and
and-
Route 3.
Well, here actually.
Across from the Masonic Town,
The,
the Ark.
the
daycare.
Methodist Church and the Ark and all those.
Oh, right.
Here, Al and I have been in conversations with these guys for a couple weeks now, and we indicated that there were some certain things that they could go ahead and get started with right away.
There's a pub over there.
He's kind of, wanting to do a hair salon and have his electrician office in there. And we looked at, the change of use form and seen that we felt that within our authority to say, yeah, go ahead and get started with those. But we told them, why don't you come in, talk to the planning board, kind of conceptually, and let them determine whether you're going to need to do site plan review when you go forward with the full project. And so he actually did a lot more than most people do. Most people kind of drag their feet on submitting things like this. He kind of, in advance of even coming in conceptually, he brought in some plans here, and he even filled out a site plan review application. I haven't had a chance to look at it. I think it was yesterday he brought this stuff in. So anyway, this is the location, Deer Street.
It's the place I was just talking about, the guy, the Deer Street is the dividing line, he couldn't sell used cars there.
I was just
It used to be an
looking at the map.
antique place,
Yeah,
From handicap parking.
close to the school.
yeah, no, I know where the general area is, yeah, I think I understand.
When D. Roy's was there, did they sell subs and things like that? I can't remember.
Not
Alright, so he wants to turn it into,
A brew pub and
Oh,
looks like a lot of other things.
Yeah, electrical
Um,
office and.
Really?
So my recommendation, I think, would be that I would recommend doing site plan review, because the restaurant use, if it's successful, as everyone hopes it will be, I think that's going to represent a significant change to that location. And as Catherine mentioned earlier, there's residential all around it.
And a church and a school.
Yeah, and so potentially you have a place that might be open till 1 in the morning with people coming out, patting each other on the back, celebrating. Like people do when they leave a group up.
Is this what he plans to submit for his site plan?
Well, I think it's his first. Yeah, that's what he'd like to go with.
Well, he's gotta put in his setbacks or I'm sending him back.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure he's willing to.
You put lighting.
Yeah. I gave him the application. I said, here's
Sign.
what needs to be on everything. The usual spiel. If you don't want to, if you're gonna mark anything as not applicable, you need to submit a letter, which nobody ever does, of course, but I do tell them. So, yeah, this is where we stand, but, you know, I guess, he's looking for some feedback as to whether he's gonna need to do site plan review.
Yes, he is.
Yes.
Is that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, there's that. So you guys will be seeing this again soon, hopefully with the setbacks.
Yeah, what to show is drainage, that's a lot of
Okay.
pitches to Route 3.
Yeah, I really
It's there
haven't
for
reviewed
catch
this
basins
yet,
and
but,
Route 3.
And he just ran
Is
this in,
that
didn't he?
the
Was
place
that the guy that just ran that in?
No,
Auction
no.
place?
Yes.
There's been a lot of strange
Okay,
stuff.
all right, yes,
In
a
fact,
lot
at
of
one
strange
point they
stuff.
had like 10 people living on the 3rd floor.
Illegally.
Yeah, in this communal
It was
situation.
a karate place then, wasn't it? When
I don't remember, there's been so many things in
Yeah, it
there.
was like a
Karate
picnic
commune.
and an auction place. It was like all these weird.
It used to be a
Tilton has the
wonderful
strangest-
market.
Oh, viewers is
They
fabulous.
had wonderful,
Oh.
wonderful meats. Oh, I loved
There's a
it.
big
It's like you asked if they make subs, I mean,
I
if
couldn't
you went in
remember.
there and you said, yeah, could you make me a sub? And you go over.
Well, that's why I
Can you
think
go over and
he
get a
had,
package of rolls?
I think that's,
They make
I
you
think
some.
that's why I asked, because I think I got him, but I didn't know whether it was because he did it or,
I mean, they had this, you know, the counter with the salads and stuff like that, and their cold
Yeah.
cuts. But yeah, if you asked them to make a sandwich, you'd make you one.
just so everybody knows, rumor has it that, well, Rio Burrito did go out of business.
Yeah, I saw the sign, and then it says temporary though on it. And
Well,
then therefore says-
rumor has it that there's several other places jockeying to rent it, and it may be another Mexican restaurant in the near future.
Wow.
These are just all scuttlebutt. Rumor has it a brew pub is going to go in on one of the floors at the bank.
Another.
Cool.
So I'm just telling you, these are
It's gonna
the,
be like Elm Street, Manchester here, so.
exactly, exactly.
Take
Not a
it.
bad place. I strolled that in the evening
Yeah,
before. but-
exactly.
Yeah, it'd be a fun
Okay, so
place.
I'm just bringing those things up because
Interesting.
Yeah.
Liven it right up.
I haven't right up. Main Street in Tilton will no longer be.
Oh, we used to have,
Get
Anthony's House of Pizza. You had 52nd Street across the street, the Tilton Inn, and you had, what was the one up the road? The pool hall. I'm getting it confused with the Comey's American Cafe on the lad's place.
And you had the little deli, you had several little delis too.
Well, that was, I'm talking when I was a teenager.
Oh, okay.
It was quite a nefarious
Maybe
place to be.
Cecile's Pizza Place, was that Anthony's?
Mm-mm.
What was her pizza place? That was,
I mean, was it Anthony's?
I don't know what the name, I'll have to
Anthony's
ask.
House Pizza. It was,
I feel like I've seen a picture of it.
that's
Was it
kind of
on Main
where the
Street?
hair salon, it was on Main Street, like,
Mm.
where they,
It was like
this hair salon up here was or
fairly far,
something.
it was beyond Polly's, I think, someplace down
There
there.
are a lot of places to get a beer in this town.
And
a lot of them.
Catherine
A lot of places to
Westner,
get in.
Catherine Westner worked for
And-
Cecile.
Oh,
In the
really?
pizza place,
There's
yeah.
only one tattoo.
One tattoo.
Lots of hair and nails though,
Nails.
everywhere.
Vaping. Can vape
Oh.
still, right? That
Yeah,
vape
you can
shop
vape.
is still
But it's only
not
one.
bad.
But when I was a kid, you could go grocery shopping at the A&P and buy your clothes at Aldrich's and go to the Rexall drugstore, and there was a soda fountain.
Hmm.
It was a nice little town.
Those were
Yeah.
the days.
And there was a movie theater
Yeah.
that John,
Pastime.
did John Bruno's father run that? The movie theater? I
Um,
think it was John Bruno's
He
father.
must it all.
I don't know who ran it. I know that,
Yeah, I went to
what's
Franklin.
the thing had it for a while.
Yeah, so,
Franklin is
That's-
like vacant.
have we heard any more
Yeah.
about the place across the street?
The old optical factory?
The, St.
Which one?
The Somebody Press
No, no.
building?
The place that Alan bought that's gonna be a fish
Oh.
market
I
and,
just don't, yeah, no, I, sorry, I don't know exactly the, sorry, I don't know what's going on with that, I don't have any new information. The fish market, I'm not, I guess I haven't heard other than from you, there's no
Well,
one's come
I-
in. with-
Alan told me that that was gonna be a side business of the main business.
Really?
Yeah,
He did tell
he
you?
did tell me that.
Okay.
So you and I were sitting having lunch on the porch. He said, there'll be a fish market over there soon. I'm like, what? Thinking, first I heard of that.
Fish market.
Yeah, he's gonna sell fish too.
Fish and
I'm
beer.
going,
Well, that's what I heard, that's why I said something to
"Where's he
Dari
gonna-
about
I
it.
don't know, I'd be real excited buying fish from somebody as a side. Not their main business. So where'd you get those fish? Where'd you get the ammonia
From the
bath?
river.
Oh, there's that fish market down by the bridge, or that's not fish, but it's like shellfish.
Yeah, that's a good, the
That's a
seafood
good
market,
place.
they're
That's
pretty
a
good.
very
That's a
good
good
place.
place.
He's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Oh, I
But
love it.
that's all he does, right?
That's his
Pretty
main,
much.
yeah, that's
That's my
his
favorite
main-
place to eat. I would love it. I would
His
wish it
main
were open
business.
all year.
He, that's pretty fresh.
Oh, it's very fresh. Oh, it's
But I,
wonderful. It's like you just caught it. Oh, I love it.
That is good.
He used to call Market.
The lobster.
ones for you. Oh, Jesus Christ. He'd stop in there,
All
buy
right.
4 big ones.
So again, just be aware of things that are going in vacant buildings that may or may not need a site plan.
Hmm.
Cropsy's material for future compliance hearing. And we
Yeah.
talked a little bit about that. If you wanna enlighten people.
Yeah, I mean,
Alright.
this is what, you know, we shouldn't talk much about this tonight, because essentially, it's a case that was conditionally approved and needs to have a compliance hearing. I mean, it's kind of like an ongoing case, and even though it's from back in 2012.
This is the parking one?
Yeah, so what I've done is, Mr. Cropsey recently sent, he came in and he said, hey, I need to finalize this. And I pulled out this notice of decision and we went through it, and he said, oh, yep, got that, and he said, all I need to give you is, this plan, essentially, number 3 on the notice of decision. At the compliance hearing, you must have an updated plan when a decision is reached as to which type of parking to be installed. So I guess a compliance hearing to establish that all of these conditions have been met will be scheduled for our, I guess, November 22nd meeting. Just want to get these materials into your hands. And
So does this mean he is going, where is he officially at? He had phase 1, then he got permission to
This is the one
go
interior
to kind of phase
separation.
1.5,
Mm,
because they increased the square footage. So has he ever gotten to phase 2? Because
Yeah.
that parking lot was necessary I thought, to go to phase 2.
It was.
you know, we've touched on this, you know, many times over the past few years, and I think we always struggle to come up with absolute answers. Maybe the best way to get these answers is when he comes here on the 22nd. I really have trouble. Like, I don't know the answer to your question, for example. I don't know if it's phase 1, phase 2, phase what.
It would require the code enforcement officer to actually go over there and measure,
Okay.
to know what square footage is being used, because it was based off of square
Oh,
footage.
okay.
That's what it's based off, and my understanding is when, I can't even think of the French name, when they came in with the party planning business,
Hmm.
and they started using that banquet area that they had exceeded,
The Usharians.
the shares, they had exceeded the, square footage for phase 1.5,
No.
and
Oh,
then moved
okay.
into phase 2,
Okay.
which they shouldn't have done,
Okay.
because without the parking lot, they couldn't do that. That's all, most of that's in that parking plan. Okay.
Okay.
And it needs to be determined that he has met all these conditions.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's what his compliance hearings, unless I haven't seen anything otherwise, yeah, it would be to, demonstrate compliance. Yeah.
Number 1's interesting.
I was just gonna ask you that one.
That
Has
fell
he done
apart
that?
years ago.
Yeah, I believe, again, my recollection, and we should probably, again, not get too far in this, I'll be the one who winds up doing it, but, I believe he said, yup, got it, as I went down the list, so he should be ready to speak to each of
He
them.
does not have number 1.
Okay.
And I'm not sure, does he have number 2, Catherine?
He did get number 2. That, he got that to construct this, to connect the sidewalk
Okay,
to
all
ours.
right.
Can I move on to the next?
Yes, we can.
All right. Remember the inflatable soccer business?
Oh,
Yeah.
They're gonna come forward with an application, so that'll be at the Tuesday 22nd meeting also.
Okay.
Where was that from?
Bittern Lane,
Yeah.
by Lowe's, yeah.
What, where are they at with it? Is this a do-over?
They,
Yeah.
You jumping back in the
they're,
middle?
they're at the point, no, what they said, what John Roque said, the engineer, he said everything is in keeping with all the meetings we've had with the town. All the meetings we've had with Concom, planning, select board, everything that was discussed, everything that was agreed to is in these. He said there's not gonna be any surprises here. This is just, even though there's been a delay of several months, this is, so we'll see. That
So it's-
was his stance.
Okay,
Yeah,
Okay.
good, that makes it easy.
yeah,
So now I gotta do homework.
yeah, that'll
Me
be a
too.
big
Well,
step.
I've been asking what the status was, and remember I came in the other day and I saw
Yeah.
her here, and I was,
Yeah.
okay.
And actually, that's all I've got. Believe it or not, just, well, here, we need to get signatures from the chairman and the secretary on a couple of these subdivisions that were approved last time.
And you have a wetlands permit, I believe?
Oh, sorry, yeah, thank you. That's kind of in the correspondence, this permit by notification, it looks
Is
like
it
it's,
Shaley?
yeah,
He does it every year,
yeah,
or every 2 years?
no, I don't know. But it's, in my view, it's inconsequential, but that's for you guys to, obviously.
I'm
take a
familiar,
look at
you're
and
familiar
decide
with
if you
Very
want.
familiar, but I'd like to look
Yeah.
at it,
it.
unless
Anybody
you
else?
wanna look at it.
So, let's see.
This guy, is he the chair of the Republican something committee or something? 'Cause he's the one who came to my house this year.
I don't know, he's a Republican, I know that.
Oh,
No, he's trying to figure out who prompts it. He's on the
Jim?
Conservation Commission.
Wow, a lot.
Kind of a worry.
Is it what?
It's a very interesting story. He's a good fellow.
right.
No, he's connected.
Who is Jerry?
I know that. Jerry,
Jerry.
yes. No, I think his name's Mike.
No, I thought we were talking about Craftsy, Jim.
Oh, yes, he's a very
Jim,
nice man.
maybe it's Jim.
It's
Jim
Jim
Crofty.
Crofty, yeah.
Glasses,
That's just what I said, and she said to me, there are a lot of people with glasses.
Trump supporter?
kinda,
Was
he looks like, you can tell that he was a hippie once.
Yeah, I said kind of wiry looking, and she,
I don't know.
That
doesn't matter.
He definitely listens to a different drummer. I like him.
By the way, I was at that meeting last night with accessory dwellings. Joe was there too. Did you bring this up?
we already had, Daria and Catherine went to a workshop on it,
Oh, okay.
the same guy, so,
Same guy.
yeah. That's why we went
Scanned it
there.
in and,
That's why we went there.
it was mostly about the tap.
So did you stay for the budget thing, the electricity thing? Because I was.
Larger people can, go bid their own. The other guy was that spoke, he said he got $7.7102 or something like that. And the woman that spoke got $6.02, so 60 cents, 61.6.
So.
But you sign a contract for 1 year, and then they got into the residential, and they said, you better go on the website, and you can look at all the brokers that handle
Is
the
this for
electricity.
delivery?
Delivery, yeah. You still will have Eversource. Like, me and my husband changed, I think it was like
I
3
changed
years
3 or
ago.
4 years ago, yeah.
Same one probably, EMS or
Yeah,
something like that,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
And you
this
get
is
a
one
lot
of those.
cheaper, so.
Because it's a delivery, it's a
I
delivery charge
changed,
that's so
but it's-
expensive.
Really?
Because
Oh,
you see it on
no,
the
it's
delivery,
big,
Maybe
yeah.
it's just the one I got, then it's not.
You can
Big
go on the
difference.
site
Change
and
much.
they'll show all the brokers that are in, like, that will service Tilton or whatever, but municipalities, it would be.
Okay. One of the things I brought up that too is, and you might be interested in, I was telling to Christine, when for the Cropsey,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I came in one day and just went in, there's a lot, there's like 4 or 5 huge folders. You might wanna review those and give you some background on
This.
what this,
Absolutely.
what
This will
this,
be on the
what this
22nd.
came from, okay, and why he needs to do this.
somebody tell me the story first.
No, that's,
So then you can be well prepared.
Yes, sounds like this big backstory.
no, it's just, when,
No, there's different phases.
different
they were
phases that have to be
A
done.
lot of
Oh, okay.
information on
Yeah.
that site,
Ah,
before.
with a lot of
Wow.
history.
So wanna come in and have a
It
party.
goes back at least a decade.
And it can be very confusing when you start going through it,
sounds
about the different phases.
what
Okay.
phases in-
So
We
they,
don't
I
know.
guess they
She's
only,
asking if they went to phase 2, but we don't know.
we don't know whether they did or not. All right, then the only last thing is signing the subdivision.
Yeah.
Unless anybody has anything else, anybody got anything else?
I just had a question, are we doing any kind of workshop on accessory dwelling? So I know it's in the process, I kinda thought that was tonight.
No, that was last night.
Last night,
Oh, that's, yeah, that
Yeah.
was a meeting, that was, well, I mean, that was.
no, the guys
No, it was
spoke
a
on it.
presentation.
Oh,
From the
right,
state.
That was a presentation.
We're
Yeah.
gonna discuss the
But that wasn't
possible ordinance
our-
change, or
Yeah.
additional
Yeah,
ordinance.
that was the
Yeah.
same thing that we went to, like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because the town has
Right.
to, we have to
Yeah.
make,
That's
Okay,
why,
very
that's,
good.
they regulate
that's why
attached but
Dara
not
and
detached.
Catherine and I
They
decided
said
to
they
do
can,
it, and we went
so
to-
yeah.
So, okay, I didn't know if it was something.
No,
Should.
there's nothing,
The-
Yeah, and
I
they
don't know,
said if
maybe
you
when
have
I talked to you
nothing-
on the phone, I mentioned that, you know, potentially at this meeting, we'd
You
We-
emailed it.
work on it. Email what? No, I'm just,
Oh.
like, I think, yeah, what, it's, yeah, we are gonna, that's gonna be one of the things.
that's gonna be one of the
Obviously, it's
ordinances.
one thing that we have to
Okay.
do this.
Did you get that from your
I
son?
missed that.
I don't know
Miss
where I
Brahma?
got it, I
Do
try
it
to,
again, let me see.
I don't know what I did.
My father used to do the same thing to
Okay.
me, he'd get really kinda like, he'd be like,
Yeah, yeah,
Talk to
probably,
me
I
with
didn't
the
get it from my
hands.
son, I probably got it from trying to explain things to my son.
All right, we'll sign.
Okay, there, I actually piled them all up over here, I guess, you know, we
You
could
need to
just,
go to the workshop
Meeting adjourned?
or the
Meeting
I think,
adjourned.
yeah.
I went to a workshop.
Oh.
Anybody have a motion to, did you make the motion? Second, I need a second.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
I got it.
Okay, no,
Oh, thank you.
This is gonna be the, turn off the stuff.
Okay.
stuff.
I just keep my phone on vibrate because my little one, my youngest is gonna have a baby soon.